And originally, we planned on keeping the days the same at the end of June that we were tracking with our meeting in Paris. And some people insisted that had to be the case. 100%, we must not waver. We promised to deliver a Congress on those days. And by golly, or mon Dieu, il faut, c'est nécessaire. But cooler heads prevailed. And somehow we imagined pushing it off, relaxing it, doing our best to overcome Zoom burnout and reimagine what it means to deliver information in a Congress format. So we went from having 35 or 40 speakers in a very tight program in a very beautiful setting, Place de la Concorde, right in the center of Paris with a beautiful gala at Le Cercle L'Intérieur, a beautiful palace, to, okay, virtual. How do we convince professors or clinicians to overcome their absolute detestation and fear of exposing themselves on Facebook? Okay, so we bolted on. Facebook wanted to get into the meeting space, a virtual Congress hall where people could exchange. We bolted on a learning management system, and we bolted on about 7 different pieces of technology coming together. And our media director, Samantha Weaver, had such vision and imagination and execution. It was incredible. And we have some team members who were just so extraordinary, coming on, some early, some late, like Yves Lejoie, who's been with us for 8 years, and Sal Rodas coming on late to help us in some aspects of production, and Ren Kwan all along, our, a wonderful filmmaker. But we have some other great support team, but we pivoted, and so many of you wonderful speakers came forward and said, you know what, I wasn't going to be able to make it in Paris, but I have a new paper coming out in sleep medicine, or I have a new validated tool, or I want to jump in, I want to contribute. So now we are at 136 speakers. We have well over 140 presentations. I think all in, we'll have well over 150 because we still have some submissions to our scientific committee and our program committee. We're processing some late-breaking submissions, like Anuja Vanderpay with Macario Camacho just got a great meta-analysis on myofunctional therapy and pediatric sleep apnea, published in the Journal of Sleep Medicine. Just amazing things. 4 wonderful workshops. We have a reimagined gala, which took place 8 days ago with 22 awards. And we were able to expand the pool a little bit, taking advantage of the format. But just people, we are so honored to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's all right with Katrina, I want to pass it to you, Katrina, for you to say a few words as the Congress Secretary. Katrina.
Well, hi everybody, and it's been an extraordinary journey for me to have been Congress Secretary, and it's been incredible to connect with so many amazing and wonderful speakers. And to be part of this whole movement. As many of you know, I'm from the United Kingdom. Myofunctional therapy is really in its infancy in the UK, which is interesting. And many of my colleagues can be a bit dismissive, and I'm trying to spread the word. I have brought a number of them to the Congress, and they're blown away by the work that everybody is doing and the expertise that everybody has. And it's just changed my practice, and I want this to move forward, to turn myofunctional science.
Sorry, we had a champagne bottle explode. So now we are obliged to start drinking.
Without further ado. But yeah, it's just brilliant to be part of this and to connect and to know so many people from around the world. And I love how it's virtual, and I love how from my small office I connect with people around the world, have conversations and chats, and it's been an amazing experience. So here's to all of you.
I know Katrina made the first toast, which she is well within her remit to do as an amazing Congress secretary. Everyone, let's give a hand for Katrina.
Yes, absolutely.
Woo! Katrina! Oh my God, Katrina!
And if I may say something, she was way more than a secretary. She was just the supreme program organizer. So thank you so much, Katrina.
Secretary has a new definition now because of you.
Absolutely.
So
Back to you, Kevin.
here's to changing medicine,
Woo.
but with style. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
I
And
want to go through the other venues we've had.
well, just to hold on a second here.
Because we've had a lot of venues. We had our first scientific meeting in Rome, June of 2014. Our first Congress right here in Los Angeles. And if you didn't notice, the backgrounds for the gala were from the Biltmore, the very place we had our first Congress.
And Leisha, you're representing one of those backgrounds right there.
The
Yeah.
Biltmore was the first location of the Oscars, the Academy Awards. And we invented our Hippocrates Gala, which we just had our 5th one, in order to really tell the story of what we do, of all of you, you clinicians out there, you 1,000+ Congress registrants. You know, here's to all of you who have the courage to take a toe or a foot or dive right in to this body of water that we call myofunctional sciences. So here's to you guys who have the courage and foresight and action to do that.
Here's to you. Any excuse to keep drinking, I will.
Well, we do you remember our first gala program? Where's that trophy? Go get the trophy.
All right.
It was on top of the Oviatt penthouse. It was a beautiful Art Deco landmark which had more Lalique crystal than any other place, I think, in the world. But it used to be a men's haberdasher. And what was that expression that was invented there? Powder my nose.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, the 1920s. There was a very fancy restroom that a lot of you took pictures in. But this little trophy was given out there. It was our second, actually, Hippocrates Award, AMS Hippocrates Award for the advancement of medicine. The first one went to Irene Marchesán in Rome in 2014. The second one went to Christian Guilleminault. And this is here. I'm so happy. Stanford School of Medicine packed up and shipped it to me, knowing that Christian Guilleminault was one of the founders of our scientific society. And he's still listed as on our advisory board, but he took so much time and care in helping build bridges with the International Pediatric Sleep Association, with the World Sleep Society.
And Kevin, I want to just put the camera on you because look what you have in your background. Can you say a few words about CG?
Yeah,
I'm going to pour him a drink too.
Please do. I wasn't even aware that CG knew that I existed. And little did I know after the fact, Mark Moeller had introduced some curiosities that I had about malocclusion maybe being first discoverable in utero. I stood up to take a picture in Chicago of a slide he was showing, which was, I'd never seen anyone else interested. And he said, Dr. Kevin Boyd, and I thought I was going to get thrown out of the meeting. And then he went on to say he is a local clinician who Mark Moeller told me is very interested in this subject. And from then on, oh my gosh, he knew who I was. It was a highlight of my career, and I thank you so much, Mark, for doing that. And you took that picture, Mark, or you or Samantha did, in Paris when I got to introduce him at his birthday, right? Was it a birthday party?
Actually, I was asked to organize the social event and a lifetime tribute for Christian Guilleminault.
Okay.
And we did it at the Circle Inter Allier. And we had people from all over the world come in. It was amazing. We had an extraordinarily hosted event. We organized it so it was free for everyone at the International Pediatric Sleep Association. And we got a letter from the French government, the Ministry of Health and Culture, and the Ministry of Science and the diplomatic attaché for science, honoring him for his lifetime achievements and contributions. This is a photo bomb opportunity from one of our sons, August.
Who have, these two boys have been very patient while
And
Mommy
Nico is here too.
and Daddy have been working so much. Come here, Nico.
We just had Robert Lustig chair a session, so we have to hide the candy.
Okay. This is Nico and August. We are, they've had to endure a lot here. So thank you guys. Does someone else want to have a few words about Christian Guilleminault? Because I think he's really a spiritual leader now in our Congress, and we reference him all the time. And if you have something to say, I would encourage you.
I remember when you and I first met him, Samantha, up at Stanford. And we didn't know who he was. Mark said he was kind of big,
Well, I knew who he was.
And we didn't know, but we lectured there and he jumped up and said, "What is that? Under the tongue, what is that?" It was so exciting.
Joy, if I remember correctly, he was the guy who asked you several times, "What are you doing for babies?
Yeah,
What
babies.
myofunctional therapy is for babies?" I remember you reported the story, and I was thinking, yeah, what are we doing for babies? That was a turning point.
Who I was always saying, what are we doing for babies? Well, we're bringing awareness about certain elements. And so thank you for joining the circus, Jill.
Well, I'm happy to be the walk-on clown, but yeah.
Okay, it's good to have a walk-on clown. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
So anyway, I am so excited to share a few things, just some housekeeping matters. We have a special announcement about the
well, this will be kind of, in the Facebook group, etc. But for those of you who are looking for dental CE credits, the next segment of this Congress we will implement the opportunity to have that happen with AGD. So just be aware, there'll be some messages about that. And
we want to give a thanks to the American Academy of Nathologic Orthopedists.
AAGO, thank you for being our provider. And
being a long-term supporter.
Absolutely. A long-term. What else, Mark?
I have a script here.
I'm sure. Go ahead.
So thank you. And because you love my spontaneity so much, I'm going to show everyone my pants, my Tom Ford blue velvet Gucci pants. I don't know if you can see this.
It's blue velvet.
The last time I wore these, I was going up the stairs of a honky tonk in Nashville to our fourth AMS Socrates Gala. And I had to run across the street to Men's Western store and buy a pair of jeans. Anyway, do you have any special anecdotes you want to share about AMS past or present?
I'm sure they'll come to me. I mean, there's many repressed memories of getting through Congresses as the wife of Mark Moeller.
Hey, come on.
It's a lot of stress involved, I'll tell you that.
No, none at all. No, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, getting on with the theme of housekeeping, we have a lot of people to thank. If they pop in, we have a support team, which has been wonderful. Make sure to make yourselves known and let us know so we can thank you right here on the screen. And with our reimagine, so see this word over here, reimagine. We always planned on having the Congress until October 1st. And so we're building up, and this is our opening ceremony. Even though we launched August 1st with 2 keynotes, and then we had 2 more keynotes the following week, we know everybody is fatigued with Zoom. We know there's burnout. We know people are being bombed with this webinar, this CE, that CE. So we wanted to make things fresh and floral and exciting. And we're so happy to be able to share all of this knowledge with you guys and to make it available to October 31st. October 1st, for all of the Congress attendees and registrants. And if people decide that the AMS is an exciting organization, worthwhile, you want to take a little chance and support us a little bit, all of this community, Samantha and I are volunteers. We have staff that we pay on a contract basis. We have until December 31st, is that right?
Yeah.
Until December 31st, if you're an AMS member, to have full access to the program. And we will have activities. There's going to be programming every day until October 1st. Live events. We have 4 additional fora or forums we are going to have. One on infant myofunctional therapy, which will be just riveting, exciting. Licha, you mentioned Christian Guimeno pushed us, championed, pushed my mother, pushed Samantha, pushed so many people. So that will be explored and pushed out to the public. By the way, our fora that are out there have been viewed at least 100,000 times already, and we haven't even released them, pushing them out to the public. People are stumbling across them. We've had, only by one metric on Facebook, over 1 million page impressions. You know, the Congress welcome video or overview video, I don't know how many times I'd have to do a research project to see, but like hundreds of thousands of times. We will have another forum on public health and myofunctional therapy. This has been a reoccurring theme. I've even considered getting graduate work in public health. And the World Congress on Public Health is in October. It's gone virtual. And the organizing committee has asked if I would consider having a late-breaking symposium. So we're working on putting a submission together. We'll keep you informed whether or not it gets in. But having that exercise in public health opportunities, for instance, the teste de linguinha, the frenulum inspection law in Brazil, why don't we move that worldwide? Why don't we make a case for that? There will be another forum on technology and myofunctional therapy. When you have 2 billion people who have sleep disordered breathing, 1 billion with sleep apnea, another 1 billion with snoring and upper airway resistance syndrome, we couldn't possibly, when the story gets out there about myofunctional therapy, train enough people. There's going to be so much demand for what all of this community does. I think there's a technology problem, and maybe that's something we should explore. There will be also some additional programming. There's going to be 5 Spotlight Series interviews with groundbreaking pioneers, such as the great German researching scientist, Wilfried Engelke. We're working on bringing in some other fantastic surprise names. Do you want to tell us about the Spotlight Series, Samantha?
Well, a part of what I have been doing is some interviews, and what I wanted to do was bring a little bit of the getting to know you piece that we can't do over wine and dinner and a virtual Congress, so that we can go into people's kitchens, learn some recipes, some cocktails, and that was the intention. So there'll be a release of these interviews and getting to know our fabulous people. It's really, the Spotlight Series is get to know the people we learn from.
We're also going to have some live film screenings. We have at least 3 films already queued up. There's some wonderful filmmakers in our community. There is a film about from an Indian lactation consultant, which I can't wait to share with you. that talks about the impact of breastfeeding. There's another French filmmaker who actually lives here in Los Angeles, who has a film that won an award at the Cannes Film Festival on brain development in infants and children. I want to work to get permission to screen the 1938 Oscar-winning film about the life of Louis Pasteur, where Paul Muni won an Oscar. It's a great story. I think we're going to create a whole series of myofunctional therapy related feature films.
Another part that I want to introduce, which is still in development, is an art series. And what we're doing is contacting artists to look at elements of the stomatognathic system. So chewing, breathing, swallowing, development in the womb, something. And through their lens of art, we're having them create something specific to the genre of what we're looking at in myofunctional sciences.
We have a famous pop band that we have some personal friendships with. They've been kind of giants on the festival circuit, and they are creating a music video for us. So there'll be a wonderful surprise. It's a group called The Egg. We have some artists who are, some are well known, some toil in obscurity, some are actually of quite famous lineage. So we have some artists poking around the Congress and seeing what they're inspired, and they're capturing images, they're doing drawings and painting, and it's just brilliant what they're coming up with. We think people need to be inspired, and we have such important, passionate stories here, which leads me to the next item on our agenda. We want to announce the formation of 4 new scientific nonprofit societies, international in scope, and or a foundation. So in the short history of the AAMS, going back just over about 9 years with our planning discussions, we have helped participate in the formation of 23 nonprofit scientific societies around the world. We have 4 new announcements to make. So the first of which, we had a patient voices forum. We have been laying some groundwork little by little here and there to create a patient-based organization. So we are creating an international body to help patients get their stories out. And we will have donated server space in a REDCap research database from our institute, the AOMT, is creating a research database with the assistance of the National Institute of Health of France, INSERM. And we're going to be collecting data from patients. We're going to be looking to create tools for all of you clinicians to have standardization. So you can report your data and have it assessed and scored with objective measurements when we get there, but also for the data to roll up so we can advance science. We're so excited about that. So the patient organization will be involved in that. We will also be forming the International Board of Myofunctional Sciences. You've heard many people talk about the need for a clinical competency accreditation with a gold standard. We're a scientific society, we're a membership society. It's really a conflict of interest for us to quote unquote certify people. And it's also a conflict of interest for board members who have teaching institutions or teaching businesses to quote unquote certify people. And so to go by the International Standards Organization in Switzerland, gold standards, we need to have a separate accreditation board, just like medical bodies do, just like dental bodies do, just like all real professional organizations, whether they want to offer continuing education or state licensing, credentialing. So we have had word from the World Sleep Society and the International Pediatric Sleep Association that when we have these exams come out, they will endorse them, and they will also offer live examination space, because you need to have proctored examinations under the supervision of independent auditors. And we have one of the world's most renowned parliamentarians and experts on medical credentialing agencies and bodies, Mr. James Stewart, who helped us form our bylaws way back when, 5 or 6 years ago. And he will be helping us with this process. We've had committee meetings going back to 5 years ago, and when we had a meeting in Porto, Portugal, 3 years ago in Chicago, when we adopted our bylaws. And our vice president, Eliana Rivera, is going to be the founding president of the International Board of Myofunctional Sciences. So, Eliana, if you want to come and say hello.
Hello, thank you very much, Mark. I'm really very grateful for you. I want to remember Dr. Christian Guillemino. I had the fortune to meet at the AAMS Congress held in 2050 in Los Angeles. In one of the last interviews that the American Sleep Association conducted with this great teacher, our teacher, when we look at the upper airway and what is around it, it is a layered structure that is not owned by any specialist, of course. The dentists and orthodontists have to deal with the region all the time, but also neurologists. So from the beginning, we don't have a single property. We have many owners. Each one has a specialist experience, recognizes, thinks, knows what to look for. Thank you very much. I invite you again to continue working together in this great work team. We can do it.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Woo!
We can do it.
We can do it. Here, here.
Here's to that.
Here's to
everybody.
that. The International Board of Myofunctional Sciences. Vamos lá. Andiamo.
Bravissimo.
Bravissimo.
Cheers!
Cheers.
Cheers. So, James Stewart, who's also on the board and heads up the credentialing committee for the American Board of Parliamentarians, which has a book called Robert's Rules. Have you guys ever heard of Robert's Rules? So it's the gold standard for nonprofit governance. But anyway, he will also be helping us with the formation of what I will announce as the third nonprofit International Scientific Society that will be formed, and we're announcing here today at our 5th AMS Congress. And that will be an international board for credentialing of educational training and institutions. Whether it be somebody who wants to offer a continuing education class and help someone maintain their standards or their accreditation, or university degree programs. We have universities all over the world that have asked our institute to explore with them the creation of training programs. Arizona State, Stanford, Sapienza University of Rome, Paris Diderot in Paris. And you know, there's really such tremendous importance. So many presentations in our Congress and our panel discussions have talked about the need, for instance, to manage training and offer training, which leads me to the announcement of the 4th Scientific Society, the International Pediatric Orthodontic Society, because Dr. Kevin Boyd, who is the co-president, founding co-president, who has talked so many times about the need for offering education to these clinicians where there are gaps in their knowledge. For instance, orthodontists not being trained to work with babies. So Dr. Boyd, would you care to say a few words? And congratulations on your presidency.
Yeah, thanks. Too bad Patrice is not here. But thank you. again, two things. Early childhood malocclusion. We must establish a diagnostic criteria, definition, that there is early childhood malocclusion that should be assessed, diagnosed, and treated. So thank you. That's all I got to say. What do you think, Mark? What do you envision will happen with this organization?
Well, I think it's going to have an impact at the very least. We have a plan to have our corporate charter in Geneva, Switzerland. We've already explored crossover with think tanks and foundations that will be Swiss-oriented and facing. There's certain laws. We've spoken at length with attorneys in Switzerland, also Brussels. I think we will have a secretariat in Brussels, where the European Union is headquartered. And there are a lot of resources to jumpstart public health programs. And we have so much research right now. We can tell our story. And, you know, when we had our planning meeting in New York City, December 1st last year, and Mayor Krieger spoke, and he said, gosh, isn't it a crime that there isn't an orthodontic society anywhere in the world other than the French Pediatric Orthodontic Society, this little organization, kind of visionary group that focuses on this? Because we know about the brain development. So I think it's going to have an impact. I think there'll be affiliations with societies, both medical, dental, myofunctional around the world. And I'll make an announcement. We'll talk more about this at the end of this program today, but the AAMS is going to be hosting the first Congress of EPOS, the International Pediatric Orthodontic Society. So that will be held in conjunction with the World Sleep Society in what likely will be March of 2022. So what an auspicious occasion to launch an International Pediatric Orthodontic Society.
Would it be appropriate, Mark, for you to maybe mention a few of our board members that they've expressed interest to join the board?
No, actually, we have confirmation of the co-president, Patrice Bergeron. If you're here, Patrice, please chime in. I know he had to do something with his family. But he's a Swiss-based orthodontist. He's actually a French national as well. He has a place down in the Côte d'Azur and in Geneva. And he's just, really so excited. And he is a leading speaker, renowned lecturer. He has a giant practice, well-respected. We have Dr. Justin Lee from Seoul, Korea. He's on the board of the Asian Pediatric Dental Association. And he's a great leader. He's founded a very large training center for pediatric dentists in India because he's passionate about helping children. He's a beloved professor at Seoul National University, one of the leading universities in Asia. We have Dr. Jade Miller, who is a trustee of the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry. He's a recent past president. And he is such a great leader. He has such courage in his conviction, and he's such a great diplomat. We have also Dr. Patrick Fellis, who's the founder of the Société Française d'Orthodontie Pédiatrique. He's Paris and outside of Paris based, and he's founder of the Société Française, that French society. He is in this program in track 1, as in all of these other 2 are. We have also as a founder, Dr. Paola Pirelli, who is winner of our Irene Marquezon Award for Lifetime Achievement and Advancement of Public Health, based at Tor Vergata in Rome, who's a historic person in medicine, crossing over with orthodontics. In her landmark paper in 2004, talked about the need for expansion, showing science with sleep apnea in children. We have also Dr. Barry Raphael, who's done such a great job in this Congress, an orthodontist from New Jersey. We have also Dr. Hidehiro Abe, who is beloved, and you should definitely watch his work both at this Congress and the previous Congress in Nashville.
Okay, so I think
Takashi Ono, right?
Mhm.
Takashi, Takashi Ono, he's a little bit overwhelmed with commitments, being the chairman of the World Federation of Orthodontics right now. So there was some discussion about that, but that's not a confirmed board position at the moment. But there are other really amazing people.
Yeah. All right. So what I wanted to do is just take a quick minute, because all of you are here today. If you want to say a few words, it's a cocktail party.
Yeah, it's an opening cocktail party. So everybody should have their drinks. We've asked all the speakers to post their favorite cocktail recipe on the Congress Facebook page. So Kate, take a look.
And that really does include kombucha, because it is a cocktail. It's steeped mushrooms and tea. So if you don't drink, you can still post your favorite drink, okay? All right. Who would like to say a few words? Just raise your hand so I can see you, because this really is about inclusivity and opening it up here.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to remember those 5 or 6 years ago when we were with Dr. Gimino, and it was the first time I met him. And something that I will never forget was that I went there to say hello. I'm from Brazil, and from Brazil are the studies, randomized and counter studies, and the article of Vanessa Ito had was just done. And then he looked at me and he said, few number of cases, and we have follow-up like this. Incredible. He was a very rigid, well, he was an editor, he was a researcher, and he was right. So let's continue doing our work and trying to share these experiences. And Mike and Samantha, thank you for doing these meetings that we can laugh a little bit and we can talk about science. And we have many steps to reach, and let's see what we can do.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's, if you have someone else, if you want to raise your hand, we can open it up here, because we all have our stories and, just a few brief words. I think it's good to, share that with our community.
While we're searching for someone who's going to contribute, I want to announce also over the next month until October 1st, and continuing on until December 31st, we are going to be launching in the middle of next week our virtual exhibit hall. And I want to thank some companies. We didn't even plan for this really, other than just like on the drawing board. This is something we're building on like a 10th track. And companies have come forward. I want to thank them to hang a shingle and open up. And so you'll be hearing more about them. But there are some very underwriting sponsors who've given a lot of time and energy. We want to thank Froggy Mouth, which is Paris-based, but expanding internationally. Just to kind of have a full disclosure statement, our institute is an underwriting sponsor, the Academy of Orofacial Myofunctional Therapy. So, I'll put my hat back on and say thank you, Academy of Orofacial Myofunctional Therapy, which has no relationship to this scientific society whatsoever, other than it being a sponsor. We have some other companies that have come forward and said, I want to contribute. We didn't even have an exhibitor prospectus form. So I want to thank Mary Burke and Myo Munchie for coming forward. I want to thank Peter Vittrick and Light Scalpel for coming forward. I want to thank Rhonda Collier and Myo Made Easy for coming forward. And we expect there will be a series of other companies who have expressed interest that will be sending in commitment forms. And, we're over 1,000 Congress registrants. I mean, who wouldn't want to appeal to this audience? It's amazing. And beyond that, we're going to have tens of thousands of people downloading the program, reading it, studying it, looking at, I mean, the 5 fora that we put out there have already been viewed, well over, I think, 100,000 times. And it's really quite remarkable. There's a tipping point occurring. So please look for the announcements about the virtual exhibit hall coming up and companies that want to partner with you and explore how to make your lives easier. So
Okay.
Did anyone want to say anything?
Yeah, please, just 1 word, 2 words.
Can I introduce my friend and mentor Gavin James, who just came on?
Oh yeah.
I followed Kevin's lead by putting my mentor in the background. Gavin's been very shy about using the technology, and I wanted to have everybody get to know him because he's been such a giant in the past in making this happen. Gavin, if you'll turn on you got your camera on, just unmute yourself and come say hello. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Anyway, you're doing a wonderful job. I'm enjoying it. Well, almost all of it. But I just want to say hi. I've come into this at a tangential angle, not realizing what it was, discovering it's Christmas. Well, whatever. My lack of technological skill, and also I have a college behind me that doesn't like what I do. So it's been a very risky job, but I'm thrilled to have a castle of support. I love what you've been doing. I like the ideas. So count me in from here on. I'm abandoning my orthodontic traditional background. To hell with it. I've been doing it for umpteen years and it's got me nowhere. I'm joining the youngsters at the other end. This is dynamite. It truly is the most interesting thing I've done in 65 years. It's astonishing what you landed in. I don't know if you quite realize what you've done. I tell people you've let the genie out of the bottle. It's not going back. This is too exciting. I'm not retiring. I gave up practice, but I'm not retiring. This is much too interesting. You've got a fabulous, fabulous opportunity to change medicine and dentistry around. It's almost frightening that this has come together, and the excitement is palpable. So don't give up. I've given up once or twice, no, a few times, in despair. But it's very difficult to swim against the tide. And up till now, the tide's been going that way, and I want to go that way. So what you're doing is marvelous. I don't know how you've got the resources to do it, or the patience, and to get people like me through the maze. But I'll hang in, and I'll master the technology with Barry's help. I'd love to have a good crack at this, not to go on and on.
Thank you so much, Gavin.
Yeah.
Gavin is in his 9th decade, and he is from a country that we call Scotland. And he decamped to North America, to Canada a while ago. But he is an orthodontist, and he's been inspired all along in looking at things like structure and function and myofunctional therapy and Buckminster Fuller geodesic domes and other things.
Better. There's more to come.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, I want to reach out to another one of our 4 founding board members. So Samantha Weaver, myself, Licia Cocciani Pasquet, and my mother. I have to give a shout out to my mother, of course, if I want to be considered a good boy. And so Joy Moeller, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. I just have to say this is like one of the highlights of my life. Of course, you being born was a little bit more. But Mark, you've been beyond in my hero. And just everything that you've done with your life has been gathered around benevolence, doing good for society, doing good. He was a good little boy and so intelligent, so absolutely. I mean, his teachers were in awe of him. Can you imagine? But I am now in awe of you. What you've done for my passion in life, and it's just beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And the fact that you're saving millions and millions of people's lives by promoting this amazing therapy, it's I feel like I can die. It's just like
You're good. If I'm good for another 10 years, you're good for another 20 or more.
Thank you. I like that.
Would anyone else like to speak, please?
This is too good.
Nicole
This
is
too
on our
good.
third board of directors.
It's like having a new world. I never thought it would happen. With all that's going on in your politics, so horrible, to find a gem of positivity in the middle of it all is marvelous. I'm having a ball when I can get my technology right.
First of all, I have to say, Joy, don't die, because the world still needs you. Just like everybody else who's here, I want to say thank you to Mark and Samantha for truly putting on, I mean, they've bridged things before, have made amazing bridges that we've watched them build. And to all of you for coming together and bringing your expertise and your passions. Dr. James, you're on the exact right train, because this is the group of warriors who make it happen. Mm-hmm. And so I think this virtual Congress and saying it's reimagined couldn't have been said better. Right? It really has been reimagined, but back to 2014, everybody had this heart and passion and soul for wanting to go out and make these changes and make these connections throughout the human body, be it the airway, be it the occlusion, the structure, the function, the behavior. And that's what everybody's doing. So thank you all for taking time out of your busy lives in this crazy 2020 to be with all of us. Thank you.
I just want to recall the first time I met Mark. That's when Joy, Barbara Green, and I were teaching courses, and we wanted to focus on the clinical aspect and not really take care of, the logistics. And so I met Mark, who just came back from living in Germany for a while. And we were sitting in a cafe in Pacific Palisades, and never I would have guessed that myofunctional therapy and myofunctional therapy would evolve into myofunctional sciences, and going from a tiny, tiny microscopic subspecialty, trying to bridge speech pathology and the dental profession, that would really expand so fast, so wide, and so deep by including literally probably dozens and dozens of other medical specialties and healthcare professions. And as Samantha said, there are myofunctional therapists and presence of them in every continent except Africa. I think there are some, because Joy and Barbara and I had at least one gentleman, one orthodontist from Ghana. So we know there is someone over there. And,
we have attendees from Africa. And actually, I think we have a Congress attendees from over 60 countries.
Excellent. Excellent. And that's a testament to you, Mark, and of course, behind every great man, there is a even greater woman. So thank you, Samantha.
Well, I didn't
and Mom and Joy, of course. but you need to have someone like Mark, who's not a clinician, but he brought to the party amazing networking skills, way of telling a story, which is not my forte, and really connecting people, connecting universities and researchers with clinicians, because sometimes there is a disconnect. And also really looking at the value of researchers as far as South America, as far as China, as far as India, Thailand, everywhere else. So kudos to you, Mark, honestly, because you made my dreams come true. And thank you, Samantha. You are doing the same. You are the very powerful couple. So thank you.
That's very kind. And
Oh.
really, who else wants to? I hear a voice.
Yeah, that's Paola Pirelli.
Paola.
Ecco. Hi, Lisa. I totally agree with Lisa. I want to congratulate Marca, Samantha, Katrina. Guys, you're amazing. You organized this Congress in a very, very, very amazing way. So I really want to congratulate. And I think that our work and the interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary work is very, very important. We have to go on all together. And so really congratulations to all of you. A big kiss from Italy.
Wow, beautiful.
In Venice, of all places.
Yes, I'm in Venice tonight.
How beautiful. Is there any of our other board
I'll
members?
be waiting for you in Italy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Grazie mille. Are there any
Big
of our
kiss to all of you. Big kiss.
Are there any of our other board members who want to say a few words? I see Silky. I see, who else is there? Eliana spoke. Silky, do you want to say something?
I have very little to add because I think everybody already told about how impressive was this work. And I think, Mike, we have been meeting in the last 6 to 8 years, I think, on each ERS Congress, each World Sleep Congress. And we have been talking about ideas and what could happen and how important it is during all these events. And it is really incredible how much it worked out and how much your effort brought this back. So congrats to all of you. Congrats to both of you. I think you managed to bring this idea to what it is today. And well, I'm very happy to be part of this, at least now. And I hope to stay with you.
Well, you have no choice. Yeah.
I feel so embarrassed by all of this praise, and I feel like, yeah, you know, I'm not really worthy. Like I don't do enough.
But I was gonna say,
can I
Joy,
speak,
I know, but Joy, you always worry that you didn't breastfeed long enough, but look what happened. Great things happened.
No, really. Come on, please.
Okay.
Please.
Got it.
It's true.
Oh my God. I'm
It's
gonna
true.
mute.
I had no support.
Please. So I serve here as a privilege and an honor. This is a volunteer role for me. I pay for the ability to help build little bridges between all of you. But I feel like we have so far to go. I mean, we're only 1,000 people on a planet of over 7 billion people. Mm-hmm. And we have billions of people who suffer. We have so much work to do. I feel such a great sense of urgency. And, you know, if you saw the Asian opening, you know, it makes me think of this story, you know, Makoto Sato, who's going to have a great presentation when he gets it in. He's like second in charge of the Japanese government Sleep Research Institute, which is adding a clinical institute, and they're adding myofunctional therapy. And he asked me, you know, he came and stayed with us to watch Samantha work and my mother work. and we drove together to San Diego for the American Thoracic Society meeting. He's like, Mark, what are you doing hanging out with us weirdos in medicine? Like, you did this and that, whatever. I'm like, it's like, it occurred to me, I was like, it's like I'm walking down the street and I see a house on fire and I look in the window and there's little kids in there and I know I can pull them out. Like, who wouldn't do it? It's obvious. I'm not doing anything really special. I'm just doing what's in front of me. And all of you are the heroes and champions who reach out to your clinical populations, who fight to create awareness amongst your clinical communities and referral communities. I mean, just here in Los Angeles, where we probably have more myofunctional therapists than anywhere in the United States, there are leading ENTs who are throwing basically fire grenades on Google to try and shut people down because they perceive them as a business threat. Crazy things happen in this world. And anyway, I just want to raise a glass to my wife, Samantha Weaver, who really was the one who inspired me joining this circus.
Okay. Well,
so here, Samantha, here's to you. I love you, and you're so amazing.
Just think he wasn't breastfed.
In closing, we have some amazing things coming up in the next month. Full programming every day through October 1st. Get all of your friends, get your mailing list to join. Join us, join the society. We're going to have extraordinary things happening. Great fora, wonderful, amazing interviews. Get your mailing list out there. Push them to join this Congress.
Please
because
do.
The
Please
more
do.
people who join, the sooner we'll get beyond that tipping point. And I think we have a film queued up, don't we?
We do. It's
a rough cut. It's a rough cut. But we'll keep polishing things in the background. I want to thank Sal Rodas, who is in the background, helping us produce some of the technical aspects of this. Victor, where is Victor? Oh, he had to go.
He had to go.
So Victor, we'll definitely thank him in the program. Christopher Arias, who was struck down with COVID-19 in helping us assemble some of this graphics. And so we had a little bit of a delay with some communications and graphic arts. And the two team members in the triage unit.
Yeah, Natalie and Gabby out there, we want to say thank you to you.
Woohoo!
They're the Congress
You guys are
team
awesome!
on the back end who are always there, ready, willing, and able to answer any questions. And I'm talking to you, Gavin James. They can always help you get into what you need to technologically.
Yeah, Congress@aamsinfo.org. They try and be 24/7, but they're mostly like kind of 18.
No, they're there a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And Shannon May, our office administrator, who's been such a trooper.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Go Shannon! Shannon!
Yeah, to Shannon.
To Shannon.
Mm-hmm. And
we want to thank also Guillaume Fellis. He and his team in Paris, their office, Baptiste Boutros. And they have a couple of amazing interns, and Axel Saint-Afrique, who as a volunteer in France, and Patrick Fellis. They've been amazing in helping build awareness and kind of like a satellite office for us. They were boots on the ground in triage when we were going to have this Congress in Paris, and they just kept on marching. And we've been in this journey together. Other people who've been amazing. Michelle Emanuel, who's been on our organizing committee and our scientific committee. We have so many people. Barry Rayfield has been amazing in helping bring awareness to this Congress. Barry. Woohoo! Founding board member of EPOS. He was at the founding meeting for our AAMS as well at University of California, San Diego 8 years ago and 1 month. Bill Hang, who helped with his marketing team, helped get the word out. Howard Hinden, who got an email out through the Foundation for Airway Health and American Academy for Physiological Medicine and Dentistry websites. And we have to thank our two other of our major sponsors, or actually four. The World Sleep Society, where we will be having our next Congress, which is in Rio de Janeiro. And if you haven't been to Rio de Janeiro, Samantha and I actually got married there. You've got to go. It's really like heaven on earth. They have an expression in Brazil, like God is Brazilian, because it's like, that's where God would choose to live. And really, it's going to be such an extraordinary meeting. Silke Weber, Jade Miller, Felix, Esther Bianchini are all going to be on scientific and organizing committees. And we'll be there as well. And we're excited. So save the dates when we have them. Because the September 10th to 15th date of 2021, I think is going to get pushed into spring of the next year.
So Ren, are we going to play the video?
Oh yeah, let's roll.
Okay.
And we're going to roll out and we're going to see you on that bat channel tomorrow. So this is also streamed public. So if you want to share this or any of our 10 live events from this past weekend, they are all available for the public, as are all fora. So click subscribe, please, on our YouTube channel. So you know where to go and you know how to find it. And when we go at a certain number, it opens some features for us. So we want to help tell our stories. And see you in Rio.
Of the global coronavirus pandemic.
Closing its borders to foreigners from tomorrow.
In the situation we find ourselves in with the coronavirus, we will suspend the live meeting and we will move to a virtual format.
There we go. Hi, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. I know people are staying up all around the world to be a part of this.
Completely avoiding. I want to do everything in my power.
When I met Christian Guilleminot,
gentle and relaxed breathing, and by doing this then you're having
impossible to cover something.
Look at the tongue space, correct?
Yeah, the tongue space and particularly the mandibular arc.
Welcome you to our forum today.
This is going to drive change.
Myofunctional therapy into the dental curriculum.
7 years of pain and 27 years of dysfunction. Why did none of the other doctors realize this stuff?
My journey is pretty much similar to, I would say, tens of thousands of people out there.
Everything made sense then. It was relieving to know that I wasn't alone, that I wasn't insane, to be having the thoughts that I was having and feeling this way. But I immediately reached out to him.
This Web Congress accumulates strong scientific evidence of the importance of orofacial health.
9 years ago in Bauru. By the way, they have a great sandwich.
Thank you, everyone. We love you, and we will be back very soon. So see you in the next month ahead. We are just getting started.
Here's to the next month. Happy opening. Woohoo! Woohoo! Woohoo!